Aching knees, stiff fingers, that cracking sound when you bend, the slow, dull pain that greets you every morning before the coffee even brews. You tell yourself it's age or maybe the weather, but deep down something feels off. Your body doesn't move like it used to. Do you feel the same? If so, you're not alone. More than 50 million Americans live with some form of joint dysfunction or arthritis, and the number keeps rising every year. The reasons are endless: stress, lack of sleep, injuries, even sitting too long. But here's the real twist. Sometimes the problem comes from what's on your plate. Can you imagine those delicious, comforting dishes you look forward to every day may actually be quietly tearing your joints apart? That's the truth. But don't worry. In this video, we'll uncover 7 common foods that may be damaging your joints and the smart, simple swaps that can protect them. Because your body deserves to move freely again, and it starts with what you choose to eat today. Number 1, sugar. You must have known it. It's popular, it's convenient, and sometimes it saves your feeling after a long day. But behind that sweetness hides a quiet, grinding risk. Yes, I'm talking about sugar. At first it feels innocent. A soft drink with lunch, a flavored coffee in the morning, maybe a cookie or two before bed. Nothing crazy, just the little joys that keep the day moving. But sugar is the kind of friend who smiles in your face and stabs your joints from behind. Inside your body, it fuels something most people never see: inflammation. When your blood sugar spikes too often, it releases chemicals that quietly attack the soft cartilage between your bones. That's the cushion your joints rely on to move smoothly. Once it's gone, every step, every bend, every stretch feels like sandpaper grinding against metal. Scientists have studied this for years. The Arthritis Foundation warns that many arthritis symptoms get worse with sugar and improve when people eat fewer sweet foods. They're not talking about rare desserts or extreme cases. Just regular everyday sugar, the kind hiding in things you'd never suspect. Take fruit juice, for example. It sounds healthy, but one glass can pack as much sugar as a can of soda. Low-fat yogurt, often loaded with hidden syrup to make up for lost flavor. Even your morning cereal or that light iced tea, all disguised in sweetness. Now imagine pouring syrup into an engine. It'll still run for a while, but every gear struggles. Every part works harder. That's exactly what sugar does inside your body. It thickens your blood chemistry, stiffens your tissues, and forces your joints to move under stress they were never built for. And the worst part, you don't feel it right away. The damage builds slowly. One year it's a little stiffness in the morning. The next you can't climb stairs without a jolt of pain. But here's the thing: sugar doesn't need to own your life. The fix starts with simple swaps. Alternative water, unsweetened tea, and whole fruit. You don't have to quit sweetness, just reclaim it from the right sources. Start small. Swap that soda for sparkling water with lemon or mint. The fizz stays, but the inflammation doesn't. Try green tea packed with antioxidants that protect joint cells from stress. Go back to coffee, plain and simple. It can even reduce inflammation when enjoyed in moderation. And the biggest upgrade, eat your fruit instead of drinking it. Whole fruits like berries, oranges, or apples come with natural sugars, yes, but also fiber, vitamins, and water that help your body process sweetness slowly and safely. Vitamin C from citrus or kiwi helps your body repair collagen, the main structure of cartilage. As Dr. Susan Bloom, a functional medicine expert, explains, sugar creates inflammation in the body, and inflammation breaks down collagen, one of the main components of joint cartilage. Her advice is simple: lower the sugar, and your joints will thank you. So keep the sweetness, just not the poison behind it. Because every sip you change today is one step closer to moving freely again tomorrow. Number 2, refined carbs and ultra-processed foods. This may sound crazy, but those boxes of breakfast cereal, the instant noodles in your pantry, the crackers that melt so easily in your mouth, they can do serious harm to your joints. Let me explain. Those foods belong to a group called refined carbohydrates and ultra-processed foods. They taste soft, gentle, easy to digest, but what they do inside your body is far from gentle. The refining process strips away the fiber, vitamins, and minerals your body needs to keep blood sugar steady. Without that balance, every bite sends glucose levels shooting up like a flare. Your body releases insulin to chase it down, and that repeated surge sparks chronic, low-grade inflammation, the kind that never fully stops burning. Over time, that inflammation doesn't just make you tired. It targets soft tissue, especially the cartilage that cushions your joints. The result: pain, stiffness, and swelling that creep in quietly but relentlessly. A report published in the BMJ found that people who eat more ultra-processed foods show higher levels of C-reactive protein, a key marker of inflammation. And according to Dr. Walter Willett of Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, highly refined carbohydrates are rapidly digested, leading to spikes in blood sugar and inflammation that can worsen chronic conditions. but nothing explains it better than a story. Last year, an older man named Harold, 68, walked into the ER with pain he described as a hammer in the knee. For decades, his diet had been simple white toast for breakfast, instant noodles for lunch, a few biscuits at night. Cheap, quick, comforting. That morning, he could barely stand. The doctor looked at his scans and sighed. The cartilage in both knees had thinned to almost nothing. The diagnosis was early-stage osteoarthritis, and the damage was already severe. Harold stared at the screen stunned. All those easy meals he thought were harmless had slowly eaten away the very joints he depended on. He whispered, "If I'd known this years ago, I would have changed everything." But by then it was too late. That's the price of convenience and the reason this message matters. Ultra-processed foods don't just fill your stomach. They flood your body with refined sugars, preservatives, and hydrogenated oils, each one adding strain your system wasn't designed to handle. What starts as comfort ends as corrosion. Alternative whole grains, vegetables, and real food meals? There's no need to panic and no need to live on lettuce alone. The fix is practical and powerful. Start your morning with steel-cut oats or whole grain toast instead of sugary cereal. Trade white rice for quinoa, brown rice, or barley grains that digest slowly and keep your blood sugar steady. Add beans, lentils, and colorful vegetables to your meals, foods packed with antioxidants and natural anti-inflammatory compounds. Fiber is your quiet defender. It slows digestion, balances insulin, and keeps inflammation low. And when you build your diet around real ingredients, whole grains, nuts, olive oil, greens, you feed your joints what they've been begging for, all along nourishment, not noise. You'll find brands that keep it honest, the ones that don't need neon labels to prove their worth. Bob's Red Mill Oats, a box of Nature's Path cereal, a splash of California Olive Ranch oil. Simple foods made the old way, and your joints know the difference. Simple foods made the old way, and your joints know the difference. You don't have to rebuild your life overnight. Just rebuild your plate one choice at a time, because your joints remember what you feed them, and it's never too late to start feeding them right. Number 3, fried and charred foods. We've grown up with it. It's in the fried chicken after church, the grilled steak on a summer weekend, the smell that fills the kitchen and makes everyone hungry before dinner even begins. But behind that sound, that smell, that nostalgia, hides a quiet kind of damage your joints can't ignore. When food turns brown and crisp, something happens that we don't see. Sugars and proteins collide under high heat and create advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. These are tiny compounds that survive the cooking process and stay in the food, and once you eat them, they stay in you. They cling to collagen, to cartilage, and to the connective tissue that helps your joints move. Over time, they make those tissues stiffer, weaker, less elastic. Your knees don't bend as easily. Your fingers don't feel as light. Your body starts to carry the weight of what you've eaten. Dr. Helen Vlasara, the scientist who first discovered AGEs at Mount Sinai, once said, "When we eat foods rich in AGEs, our body accumulates them, and the more we accumulate, the higher the level of inflammation we live with." The Cleveland Clinic adds that fried and grilled foods are among the top contributors to oxidative stress and chronic inflammation in adults. Even Harvard Health Publishing points out that cooking with dry, intense heat, whether it's frying, broiling, or barbecuing, triggers a spike in compounds that speed up tissue aging. So let's pause for a second. How often do you reach for something fried? How many times last week did you cook on high-heat chicken, fish, or steak? Do you notice your joints feeling tighter the next morning? The swelling in your fingers that takes longer to go away? The stiffness that greets you before your first cup of coffee? It's easy to ignore because pain doesn't show up the same day the problem starts. But inflammation builds slowly, like a quiet leak in the roof, drip by drip, until one day the damage is too visible to hide. This isn't about guilt. It's about awareness. Because the truth is, you don't have to give up flavor to keep your joints safe. You just have to change the way the heat touches your food. Alternative steaming, stewing, poaching, or air frying. Now picture this instead. A family gathered around the dinner table. Steam rises from bowls of vegetables, tender fish, and warm rice. An air fryer hums softly in the background, filling the room with that familiar aroma of crisp golden food, but without the burn. The flavors are still there. The laughter still flows. The comfort hasn't gone anywhere. Only the damage has. That's the quiet beauty of cooking differently. Steaming, stewing, poaching, or air frying, these methods use lower moist heat that keeps nutrients intact and cuts age formation nearly in half. A simple trick like marinating meat in lemon vinegar or herbs can lower those compounds even further, a balance between chemistry and care. The National Institutes of Health calls it the simplest prevention. Lower the heat and inflammation drops naturally. No expensive treatments, no pills, just smarter heat and a little more patience. Cooking slower doesn't mean losing pleasure. It means protecting it. Because when your meals stop hurting your body, comfort finally tastes the way it should, warm, safe, and full of life. Number 4, alcohol and high purine foods. It starts with a toast. A cold beer after work. A small glass of wine at dinner. A weekend barbecue with friends' laughter rising under the smell of grilled meat and seafood. Feels harmless, doesn't it? Even good a sign that you've earned your rest. But here's what your body feels. Each drink, each bite of organ meat or shrimp or anchovy adds to a slow chemical storm, one that begins in the bloodstream and ends in your joints. Alcohol and purine-rich foods break down into uric acid, a natural waste your body usually filters out. High purine foods include things like organ meats, liver, sardines, anchovies, mussels, and certain cuts of red meat, all delicious, but all capable of driving uric acid levels through the roof when eaten too often. Tiny shards form inside your joints like glass under the skin. Your toe swells, your knees burn, your hands ache at night. You tell yourself it's fatigue, but it's not. It's gout, the ancient enemy of indulgence, still alive today. According to Mayo Clinic, alcohol, especially beer, blocks uric acid from leaving the body. The Arthritis Foundation adds that even small amounts can trigger flare-ups for people already at risk. And as Dr. Tuhina Naogi of Boston University explains, even modest drinking can trigger flares once uric acid levels are high. There's no truly safe threshold. But science alone doesn't show the full picture. Let's step inside one. He was the kind of man who worked hard and lived louder. Every evening ended the same: the hiss of a beer can, the clink of ice in a glass. One drink to relax, another to celebrate. Soon there wasn't a reason needed at all. Years passed, and so did his sleep. The mornings grew slower, the aches heavier. His fingers swelled after weekends, his ankles after meals. He told himself it was nothing, just age, just the weather, just stress. Until one morning he couldn't bend his knee. At the hospital, the doctor showed him the test results: uric acid through the roof, early kidney strain, blood pressure climbing. His joints, the ones that carried him through years of labor, were now fighting him with every step. He nodded quietly. He promised to quit. But the next night the silence was too much, the craving too sharp, the habit too old. And so the cycle began again, not for joy, but for escape. Now he doesn't crave the taste anymore. He craves freedom, the kind where he can move without pain, sleep through the night, wake without guilt. But that kind of peace feels far away now, almost like a luxury he can no longer afford. Alternative low-fat dairy hydration and smart substitutes. Yet redemption often hides in the smallest actions. Replace one drink with water, then another with a glass of low-fat milk. Studies show it helps the body excrete uric acid more effectively. Trade salty bar snacks for cherries. A Boston University study found that regular cherry intake can reduce gout flares by more than 30%. Even a cup of plain coffee helps your kidneys flush out excess acid. And then something subtle changes. You wake up without the throbbing. Your fingers feel lighter. You start to remember what normal used to feel like. Health doesn't arrive in a rush. It creeps in the same way disease once did, but in reverse. Slowly, gently, faithfully. This isn't about abandoning joy. It's about reclaiming it, one clear glass, one steady morning, one pain-free step at a time. Number 5, high sodium and processed foods. It doesn't crackle like oil. It doesn't sparkle like sugar. It sits quietly in your sauces, your soups, your morning bread, one pinch at a time. You barely notice it, but your body does. Salt feels innocent. It's part of every culture, every table, every comfort dish we grew up with. But too much of it begins a reaction. You can't see a reaction that quietly strains your body from the inside out. When sodium builds up, it pulls water into your tissues and bloodstream. That extra fluid presses against vessel walls, tightens circulation, and swells the spaces around your joints. The body becomes like a sponge, heavier, slower, always holding more than it needs. Your fingers puff, ankles throb, knees stiffen after sitting too long, and deep inside your heart and kidneys struggle against the pressure. According to Harvard Health Publishing, excess sodium raises C-reactive protein, a key sign of chronic inflammation. Johns Hopkins Medicine reports that diets high in salt can worsen arthritis symptoms by damaging the cartilage's ability to retain fluid, the very cushion that protects your bones. And it's not just the shaker. Dr. Cheryl Rock from UC San Diego reminds us, most of the salt we eat doesn't come from what we add, it's built into the foods we buy. That means your sandwich bread, canned soup, instant noodles, sauces, and frozen meals might already contain double or triple the sodium your body can handle, even when you never reach for the salt shaker. Imagine a man in his late 50s lying in a hospital bed. The room smells faintly of antiseptic and boiled rice. His joints make small cracking sounds when he moves brittle dry like old hinges. But that's not the part that scares him most. It's the bill, the long nights, the cost of medication that drains his savings faster than he can earn it. Years of high-sodium meals, instant noodles, canned fish, processed meats have caught up with him. His blood pressure has soared. His kidneys can no longer filter properly. His legs and hands swell more each week. His wife sits by the bed, staring at the hospital bill numbers stacked higher than their monthly income. Their son works double shifts to cover the cost. The house that once echoed with laughter now feels like a waiting room. He never thought salt could lead here. He thought it was harmless, just flavor, just routine. But comfort, once abused, turns into a debt you can't easily repay. And sometimes the worst pain isn't physical. It's the weight of watching your family pay for your habits. Alternative herbs, citrus, and smarter choices. The good news is protecting your joints doesn't mean living a tasteless life. The solution is simpler and far more delicious than you think. Start by using low-sodium versions of what you already love. Soy sauces like Kikkoman Less Salt or Lee Kum Kee Premium Light still bring that deep umami flavor without flooding your system. Choose low-sodium broths for soups and stews, or better yet, make your own stock with fresh vegetables and herbs. Instead of relying on processed foods or instant noodles, cook with whole grain noodles, rice, or fresh vegetables, the kind of ingredients that build strength rather than strain. If you're using canned beans or vegetables, rinse them under running water to wash away almost half their sodium. And instead of salty snacks, keep roasted chickpeas or unsalted nuts on hand, crunchy, rich, and naturally satisfying. Then comes the best part, rediscovering real flavor. Season with garlic, basil, parsley, oregano, turmeric, or a touch of lemon juice. Each adds depth, aroma, and warmth without the sharpness of salt. Within weeks, your taste buds adjust. You start tasting the sweetness of carrots, the earthiness of mushrooms, the liveliness of herbs, all the notes that salt once drowned out. And little by little, your body responds. The swelling fades. Your energy rises. Because eating well isn't about cutting flavor, it's about reclaiming it. Number 6, unhealthy fats. It's that sound we all love, the soft sizzle of oil in the pan food, turning golden the aroma that fills the kitchen before dinner. It feels warm, familiar, and safe. But inside that comfort lies something your joints can't handle. Because the wrong oils don't just flavor your food, they fuel inflammation deep inside your body. When certain fats heat up, they change shape. Oils like margarine, vegetable shortening, or reused frying oil produce trans fats and free radicals, compounds that damage cells, stiffen arteries, and weaken cartilage. These byproducts disrupt your body's natural repair process, forcing your immune system into constant alert. That's how inflammation begins, not as pain, but as small, silent fires beneath the surface. According to Harvard School of Public Health, even small amounts of trans fats can raise C-reactive protein, a key marker of inflammation linked to arthritis and heart disease. The National Institutes of Health adds that an unbalanced ratio between omega-6 and omega-3 fatty acids, common in cheap oils like soybean, corn, and sunflower, overactivates inflammatory pathways and worsens joint swelling. Most of us don't think about oil. We think about the food we fry, not the fat that fries it. But what's inside the pan matters just as much as what's on the plate. Imagine a street vendor with a blackened pan oil bubbling from years of use. Each morning he pours in more, reheats, it fries again. The smell fills the air, tempting, nostalgic. But with every batch, the oil breaks down further, releasing toxins invisible to the eye. That same pattern happens in millions of homes, the same oil reused, reheated, trusted. It feels economical, even practical, but inside it leaves a trace, thicker blood, stiffer joints, slower mornings. Or think of a home kitchen where sunflower and palm oil have been staples for decades. The taste hasn't changed, but the health has. Over the years, cholesterol creeps up, blood pressure follows, and cartilage loses its flexibility. The hands that once moved freely now ache after simple chores. The change is gradual, too slow to notice, too heavy to reverse easily. The hard truth is, it's not that people are eating too much fat, it's that they're eating the wrong kind. Alternative healthy fats. The good news is your meals don't have to lose their flavor to become healthier. You only need to replace harmful fats with better ones, the kinds your body can actually use to protect, repair, and move. For everyday cooking, use olive oil, canola oil, or avocado oil. These contain monounsaturated fats that reduce inflammation and support heart and joint health. When cooking at high temperatures, choose peanut oil or refined olive oil. They're more stable under heat and don't break down as quickly. If you're frying, occasionally use fresh oil every time instead of reusing it. Add more foods naturally rich in omega-3 fats, salmon, mackerel, sardines, walnuts, flax seeds, and chia seeds. These fats balance your body's inflammation response and help maintain flexible cartilage. Meanwhile, reduce the use of vegetable-shortening margarine and deep-fried processed foods, which are often packed with trans fats and oxidized oils. Cooking doesn't have to mean sacrifice. You can still enjoy crisp textures and satisfying flavors, only now your oil works with your body, not against it. Over time, the difference becomes clear, lighter joints, steadier energy, calmer mornings. Because the right fats don't take flavor away, they give your body the freedom to enjoy it longer. Number 7. Refined sweeteners and artificial additives. It hides in the coffee, you drink the yogurt, you trust the sauces you never suspect. Sugar doesn't shout for attention, it blends in quietly, but your joints can feel it long before you ever taste it. Sweetness comforts. It's part of childhood celebration reward. We crave it when we're tired, when life feels heavy, when the world feels gray. But over time, the same sweetness that soothes the mind begins to strain the body. When refined sugar enters your system, it floods your bloodstream fast. Your pancreas releases insulin to chase it down, and your cells respond, but not forever. With repeated spikes, your body's defense starts to weaken. The excess glucose binds with proteins in your tissues, forming compounds called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. They stiffen collagen, dry out cartilage, and make your joints less elastic, the same damage caused by high-heat cooking or fried food. According to Harvard Health Publishing, diets high in added sugars are linked to greater levels of C-reactive protein, a key indicator of inflammation and arthritis risk. The National Institutes of Health reports that even modest increases in daily sugar intake can amplify inflammatory markers throughout the body, worsening stiffness and pain. Artificial sweeteners don't solve the problem either. Substances like aspartame sucralose and acesulfame potassium can alter the gut microbiome, reducing healthy bacteria that regulate inflammation. They confuse your body's insulin response, keeping cravings alive and metabolism unstable. You think you're cutting calories, but your body still feels under attack. Imagine a woman in her 60s. Every morning she stirs 2 spoonfuls of sugar into her coffee. She skips breakfast, just a flavored yogurt and a biscuit will do. By evening, her fingers swell, her knees ache, and she blames the weather. Her doctor tells her she's eating light, avoiding fat, doing everything right except one thing. Her sugar intake is silent, scattered, and constant. A few grams here, a drizzle there, hidden in cereal sauces, breads, and snacks labeled low-fat or sugar-free. When she switched to artificial sweeteners, things didn't get better. Her body stayed inflamed and the craving never disappeared. We often think of sweetness as comfort, a small prize at the end of the day. But what happens when that comfort becomes dependence? When the habit of just a little turns into a pattern your body can't recover from? The truth is, it's not about the sugar you see, it's about the sugar that hides in plain sight. Alternative natural sweetness, real balance. The good news is you don't have to quit sweetness, you just have to bring it back to its natural place. Start by replacing refined white sugar with honey maple syrup, or a small amount of brown sugar when sweetness is truly needed. These forms of sugar still contain trace minerals and are digested slower, reducing sudden spikes. Choose fruit-based desserts, baked apples, ripe bananas, or berries with yogurt. Their fiber slows sugar absorption and keeps blood sugar steady. If you enjoy drinks, swap soda or sweetened coffee for water, infused with lemon, cucumber, or berries. Even unsweetened green or herbal teas can satisfy the craving without raising inflammation. For those who need a calorie-free option, use stevia or monk fruit, extract both natural and proven safe in moderation. They deliver sweetness without altering blood sugar or gut bacteria. Most importantly, reduce the number of sweet moments throughout the day. When you do your palate resets, you start tasting the gentle sweetness in real foods. Carrots, nuts, grains, and even plain milk. Over time, your body changes too. Energy lasts longer, inflammation eases, and every joint feels a little lighter. The reward isn't in the sugar, it's in the freedom of feeling well again. We've walked through 7 silent culprits: sugar, salt, alcohol, oil, and the foods that filled our plates for years without warning. But this isn't a story of guilt. It's a story of awareness, of finally seeing what your body has been trying to tell you. Every small choice matters: a little less salt, a little more water, one meal cooked with care instead of convenience. You don't have to change overnight. You just have to begin patiently, consistently, with respect for the body that's carried you this far. Because joints don't just hold your weight, they hold your life, your memories, your movement. And when you treat them kindly, they give that strength back. So take the next step, not in fear, but in confidence. You can rebuild from within, one meal, one motion, one pain-free morning at a time.
This video does not promote division within the United States or encourage segregation. All content is presented for the purpose of exploration, analysis, and fostering discussion based on current events, public sentiment, and social trends. We fully respect the United States Constitution and all federal regulations. If today's analysis made you think, drop a comment so we can keep the conversations going. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you will never miss our next independent deep dive.